I still remember the exact moment my wife said those words to me. If you do not like it, you can leave. I was standing in the apartment I was paying for the apartment with my name on the lease. Her mother was sitting on the couch I had bought, smiling like she had already won. Amanda, my wife, stood beside her mother, refusing to look at me. That is when I realized I was no longer the man of my own home. So I did exactly what she told me to do. I left, but I did not leave alone. I took the apartment with me. Before I tell you how I turned their world upside down, I want to know where you are watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you have ever felt like a stranger in your own home, hit that like button. Subscribe and turn on notifications because this story gets a whole lot more satisfying from here. Now let me take you back to where it all started. Amanda and I met 3 years ago at a coffee shop in Portland, Oregon. She was a graphic designer. I worked as a software engineer. Our first date was a walk along the Willamette River on a Sunday afternoon. She told me about her dream of having a warm, loving family someday. I looked at her smile, genuine and bright, and I thought, this is the woman I want to build a future with. Those first 2 years were simple and beautiful. She would cook for me when I worked late, pasta with garlic bread, nothing fancy but made with care. We would spend Friday nights watching movies, eating pizza straight from the box, laughing at bad jokes. After 2 years of dating, I knew I wanted to marry her. I proposed on a rainy evening in March, right there in our favorite coffee shop where we first met. She cried and said yes. We had a small wedding that June, just our families and close friends. Her mother, Patricia, came up from Sacramento. During the wedding, Patricia seemed happy. She kept calling me her good son-in-law, hugging me, saying, "Now I have a son." I should have paid more attention to that phrase. Now I have a son. But I was too happy to notice the warning signs. 2 months after the wedding, we moved into a new apartment. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom in the Northwest Portland neighborhood. The rent was $1,900 a month. The lease was entirely in my name because my income as a software engineer was stable. Amanda worked as a freelance designer, so her income varied from month to month. The landlord, Mr. Kowalski, a kind Polish man in his 60s, preferred a steady income on the paperwork. We spent a whole Saturday at IKEA picking out furniture. A gray couch, an oak coffee table, a TV stand. Amanda designed artwork for the walls, prints of Portland landmarks and abstract patterns she created herself. I installed a 45-inch TV and a surround sound system in the living room. We arranged everything together, laughing when we messed up the furniture assembly instructions, ordering Thai food when we got too tired. "This is our home," Amanda said that night, curled up next to me on our new couch. Our home. I kissed her forehead and believed every word. The first few months were peaceful. We cooked dinner together most nights. I worked from home 2 days a week, set up a small desk in the corner of our bedroom. Amanda worked at the dining table, her laptop surrounded by design sketches and color swatches. It was a simple, quiet life. It was perfect. Then the phone calls started. Patricia began calling every single day. At first, it was just 15 minutes here and there. Amanda would answer chat with her mom, laugh about something, then hang up and come back to whatever we were doing. But 15 minutes became 30 minutes, then an hour, then 2 hours. Every evening, like clockwork, Patricia would call right as we were sitting down for dinner. The calls were always the same. Patricia would complain about her life in Sacramento. She was lonely. Her neighbors were too loud. She had back pain. Her knees hurt when she walked. She would sigh heavily into the phone and say things like, "I am getting old, Amanda. I do not know how much time I have left." Amanda would reassure her, comfort her, tell her everything would be okay. I started to feel a small knot of irritation growing in my chest. One evening we were having spaghetti and meatballs, one of my favorite meals Amanda made. The phone rang. Amanda glanced at it, saw it was her mother, and immediately answered. She left the table, walked into the bedroom, and I heard her talking softly for the next hour and a half. By the time she came back, dinner was cold. I was already washing dishes. "Honey," I said carefully, "can we have dinner without interruptions? Just one meal where we can talk to each other." Amanda looked surprised, almost hurt. "It is just my mom, Harry. She needs someone to talk to. She is all alone down there." I nodded. I told myself it was fine. Patricia was lonely. It would pass. It was temporary. But it did not pass. It got worse. 2 months after our wedding on a Thursday evening, Amanda sat down next to me on the couch. Her hands were shaking slightly. She looked nervous. "Harry, I need to ask you something," she said. I muted the TV and turned to face her. Patricia was having problems with her landlord in Sacramento. He wanted to sell the building and all the tenants had to move out. Patricia needed time to find a new place. "Can my mom stay with us?" Amanda asked, her voice small and hopeful. "Just for a few weeks. Maybe a month tops." I hesitated. I wanted to say no. Every instinct told me this was a bad idea. But I looked at Amanda at the plea in her eyes and I thought about what marriage means. Her mother was family now. Family helps family. "Okay," I said finally. "But just until she finds a place." Amanda threw her arms around me. Thank you, I love you so much." I hugged her back and tried to ignore the sinking feeling in my stomach. It is temporary, I told myself. I can handle a few weeks. But I was wrong. So very wrong. Patricia arrived on a Friday afternoon. I took the afternoon off work to help with the move. I expected maybe a suitcase or two. Instead, Patricia showed up with 3 huge suitcases and 5 cardboard boxes. I stared at the pile of belongings on the sidewalk. "I thought it was just a few weeks," I said, keeping my voice light. Patricia laughed. "Oh, this is just essentials, sweetie. I cannot live without my things." We set up the living room as her temporary bedroom. We put a foldable bed in the corner, pushed the couch to one side to make space. Patricia immediately started unpacking, spreading her belongings across every available surface. Knickknacks on the coffee table, books stacked on the TV stand, her clothing draped over chairs. The open, airy living room we had carefully designed suddenly felt cramped and cluttered. The first few days, Patricia seemed pleasant enough. She cooked meals for all of us, big pots of stew and casseroles that were heavily salted. I could barely eat them, but Amanda raved about how delicious everything was. "Mom is the best cook," she said, beaming at Patricia. I forced a smile and pushed the food around my plate. By the second week, things started to shift. I came home from work one Tuesday to find that Patricia had rearranged the living room. My books, which I kept neatly stacked on the coffee table, were gone. "Where are my books?" I asked. Patricia smiled sweetly. "Oh, Harry, they were making the place look so messy. I put them in the closet. This looks much better now, does it not?" I bit back my frustration. "Patricia," I said as calmly as I could, "I would appreciate it if you asked before moving my things." She laughed, waving her hand dismissively. "Oh, Harry, I am just trying to help. This place needed some organization." I looked at Amanda for support, but she just shrugged. "She is just trying to make the place nicer," Amanda said. It got worse. My vinyl record collection, which I kept on a shelf I had installed myself, was suddenly shoved into a single corner. "You do not need all this space for old records," Patricia said when I asked about it. I felt my jaw clench, but I said nothing. "This is temporary," I reminded myself. "Just a few more weeks." But Patricia was not just reorganizing. She was invading every part of my life. I worked from home on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I had a small desk set up in the bedroom where I could take calls and finish projects in peace. Or at least, I used to have peace. Patricia started coming into the bedroom every 20 minutes. "Harry, do you want some coffee? Harry, do you want a snack? Harry, what are you working on?" I tried to be polite at first. "No, thank you, Patricia. I am in the middle of something." But she would not stop. One Thursday, I had an important video call with my manager and the entire development team. I had told everyone in the apartment that morning, "Please, I have a big meeting at 10. I need complete silence." Amanda nodded. Patricia said, "Okay." At 10:15, right in the middle of my presentation, Patricia knocked on the door. Loudly. I tried to ignore it. She knocked again. And again. I muted my microphone. "What is it?" I hissed through the door. "I made you a sandwich," she called back cheerfully. I had to apologize to my team and take a 5-minute break. My manager looked annoyed. I was mortified. When I came out, I found Patricia sitting in the living room watching her soap operas on our TV. I closed the bedroom door and locked it. For the rest of the afternoon, she knocked every 30 minutes. Just checking if you need anything, she would say. Evenings were no better. Every night, Patricia claimed the TV. She watched her shows, soap operas, and reality TV from 7 until 11. If I wanted to watch a basketball game or a movie, I had to watch on my laptop in the bedroom. The living room was no longer a shared space. It was Patricia's territory. The fourth week, I opened the electricity bill. My stomach dropped. It had doubled. $280 instead of the usual $140. I checked the other bills. Water had nearly tripled. Patricia was taking 2 long showers every day, each one lasting 30 minutes or more. She left the air conditioning on at 68 degrees all day, even when no one was home. I found Patricia in the kitchen that evening. "Patricia, we need to talk about the bills. They have doubled since you moved in." She looked surprised. "Oh my, I had no idea. I will be more careful." But nothing changed. The next month, the bills were even higher. I went to Amanda. She was in the bedroom working on a design project. "We need to talk," I said. She saved her work and turned to me. "What is wrong, Amanda? Your mom has been here a month. When is she leaving?" I kept my voice level, trying not to sound accusatory. Amanda's face immediately hardened. "Harry, she is my mother. She cannot afford rent in Sacramento right now. The market is crazy. We can help her financially," I said. "But she cannot stay here forever. This is our home. We need our space back." Amanda stood up, her voice rising. "Our space. She is my mother, Harry. She has nowhere else to go. She raised me alone after my dad left. I owe her everything. I owe her everything." Those words felt like a slap. "What about what you owe me?" I wanted to ask. "What about our marriage?" But I did not say that. Instead, I tried to reason with her. I am not saying abandon her. I am saying she needs to find her own place. We can help, but she needs to start looking. Before Amanda could respond, Patricia's voice came from outside the door. "I am sorry I am such a burden. Maybe I should just leave." The door opened. Patricia stood there, tears running down her face. "I never wanted to cause problems between you two." Amanda immediately rushed to her mother. "No, Mom, you are not a burden." She hugged Patricia, then turned to glare at me. "How could you?" she whispered harshly. Patricia cried louder. Amanda led her mother back to the living room, leaving me standing alone in the bedroom. That night, Amanda slept on the foldable bed with her mother. She said Patricia was too upset to be alone. I lay in our bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling like the villain in my own home. By the third month, I barely recognized my life. Patricia had essentially taken over. She invited her friends to the apartment without asking. I would come home from work to find 4 or 5 women I had never met sitting in my living room drinking tea, laughing loudly. Patricia would introduce me as Amanda's husband, and I would nod politely before escaping to the bedroom. Amanda stopped spending time with me. Every evening, every weekend, she was with her mother. They went shopping together using our joint credit card. They watched TV together. They cooked together. Several nights a week, Amanda slept in the living room with Patricia because her mother was scared of being alone. I ate dinner by myself in the bedroom most nights. I stopped trying to join them in the living room. The few times I did, Patricia and Amanda would be deep in conversation, and I would sit there in silence, feeling invisible. When I tried to contribute, Patricia would change the subject or talk over me. I was lonely in my own marriage. I was a ghost in my own home. Every day I came back from work with a knot in my stomach, dreading what new boundary would be crossed. One Saturday evening in the 3rd month, I decided enough was enough. I walked into the living room where Amanda and Patricia were watching a cooking show. "I need to talk to both of you," I said. I kept my voice calm and firm. Amanda looked annoyed at the interruption but paused the show. Patricia smiled pleasantly. "What is it, dear?" I sat down across from them. "Patricia, it has been 3 months. You said a few weeks. I need you to find your own place within 30 days. I will help you look. I will even help with the deposit. But you need to leave." The smile vanished from Patricia's face. Her expression turned cold. "How dare you? This is my daughter's home too." I felt my patience snap. Yes, and it is also my home. The lease is in my name. I am paying the rent. Amanda shot to her feet. Do not you dare talk to my mother like that. I stood up too, trying to stay calm. Amanda, please, be reasonable. We need our space back. We are married. This is supposed to be our home, not a boarding house. My mother needs me, Amanda shouted. She is alone. She is sick. She is not sick, I said firmly. She is perfectly capable of living on her own. Patricia started crying. Loud, dramatic sobs. I knew you never wanted me here. I am just an old woman with nowhere to go. You want to throw me out on the street. Amanda wrapped her arms around her mother, shooting me a look of pure hatred. Then Amanda said the words that changed everything. She turned to face me, her eyes cold, her voice like ice. If you do not like it, you can leave. This is my home too, and my mother is staying. Time seemed to freeze. I looked at my wife, this woman I had loved, had married, had built a life with. She was a stranger now. Patricia sat on the couch I had paid for, crying crocodile tears, smiling through them because she knew she had won. I realized in that moment that I had already lost Amanda. I had lost her the day Patricia moved in. I stood up straight. My voice was calm, colder than I had ever heard it. You are right, I said. I can leave. And I will. I walked to the bedroom and closed the door. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from rage, from clarity. She told me to leave. Fine, but this was my apartment, my name on the lease. They wanted to stay. Let them try. I opened my laptop and sent an email to Mr. Kowalski. Subject: lease cancellation. I need to cancel the lease effective 30 days from now. Personal reasons. I will be moving out. Mr. Kowalski replied within 15 minutes. Sorry to see you go, Harry. You have been a great tenant. I will process the cancellation. I called the utility companies next. Electricity, water, internet, gas. All in my name. I scheduled disconnection for the same day the lease ended. Then I started looking for a new place. Something small, something cheap, something just for me. I found a studio apartment across town. 400 square feet. $650 a month. I signed the lease that night. For the next 30 days, I lived like a ghost. I went to work, came home, ate in my room, slept. I did not argue. I did not talk to Amanda or Patricia unless absolutely necessary. They thought they had won. Patricia was more comfortable than ever, hosting her friends, taking over the entire apartment. Amanda seemed relieved that I had stopped fighting, but I was preparing. Every day I took a few items to a storage unit I had rented. My vinyl records, my books, my clothes, my laptop, anything valuable or important. I transferred money from our joint savings account into a personal account. I packed my life away piece by piece, and neither of them noticed. On day 30, a Tuesday morning, I called in sick to work. Amanda and Patricia were still asleep. I made 3 trips with my car, moving the last of my belongings. The TV, the sound system, the bed, my desk. I left the couch. It was old anyway. I left the foldable bed Patricia used. I left basic kitchen supplies. But everything that was mine, everything I had paid for, I took. By noon, the apartment was nearly empty. I returned one last time. Amanda and Patricia were eating lunch in the kitchen when I walked in. They looked around at the bare living room, their faces frozen in shock. Harry, Amanda said, her voice small. What is happening? Where is the TV? Where is the bed I am leaving? I said simply. Like you told me to. Amanda stood up, panic flooding her face. What I did not mean, you cannot just leave like this. Oh, I can, I said. And I did. Patricia stood up too, her face red with anger. This is ridiculous. You cannot take everything. It is my stuff, I said calmly. I paid for it. It is coming with me. But what about the apartment? Amanda asked, her voice shaking. We still have the lease. We can work this out. I looked at her. This woman who had chosen her mother over me, who had made me feel like a stranger in my own home. The lease, I said. The lease in my name, I canceled it. You have 14 days before the landlord comes. The silence was deafening. Amanda's face went white. You canceled it. But how can we? This is our home. No, I said. It was my home. You made it clear I was not welcome. So I am leaving. And since only my name is on the lease, well, good luck with Mr. Kowalski. Patricia started shouting. You cannot leave us here. We have nowhere to go. I turned to look at her. You should have thought about that before you treated me like an intruder in my own home. Amanda, do something, Patricia cried. Amanda turned to me, tears streaming down her face now. Harry, please. We can fix this. I will talk to my mom. She will leave. Just do not do this. Too late, Amanda, I said. You chose. You chose her over me, over our marriage, over our life together. I picked up my keys and my wallet. I walked to the door. I stopped and turned back one last time. They were both standing there, Patricia red-faced and furious, Amanda pale and crying. You told me if I did not like it, I could leave, I said. So I did. I canceled the lease in my name and let the landlord handle the squatters. I walked out and closed the door behind me. I did not look back. My new studio apartment was tiny, 300 square feet. Just enough room for a bed, a small table, my TV, and my desk. But it was mine. Completely, entirely mine. The first night I sat on my bed in the quiet. No Patricia talking loudly on the phone. No soap operas blaring from the TV. No feeling of walking on eggshells in my own space. I made a simple dinner spaghetti with tomato sauce and ate it in peace. For the first time in 3 months, I felt like I could breathe. Did I feel guilty? For a moment? Yes. There was a small voice asking if I had overreacted, if I should have tried harder. But then I remembered. I remembered Amanda saying, if you do not like it, you can leave. I remembered 3 months of being treated like an unwanted guest. I remembered paying for everything while being respected for nothing. No. I had not overreacted. I had finally stood up for myself. I found out what happened to them through Derek, a mutual friend. He called me 2 weeks after I left. Dude, he said, Amanda has been trying to reach you. I know, I said. I am not answering. He sighed. Man, you really left them in a tough spot. He told me everything. Mr. Kowalski had shown up at the apartment exactly 14 days after I left. He informed Amanda and Patricia that they needed to vacate immediately since there was no valid lease. Amanda begged him to let her sign a new lease, but her freelance income was not stable enough to qualify. Patricia had no real income at all besides a small Social Security check. They had to leave. Amanda called me over and over, 47 missed calls in 3 days, text messages begging, please, Harry, help us. We will change. Mom will leave. I swear. We will do whatever you want. Just help us. I did not reply. Not once. Patricia moved back to Sacramento. She found a small apartment through a social services program. Amanda had no choice but to go with her. They were now living together in a cramped one-bedroom apartment, and according to Derek, they were already driving each other crazy. Turns out when you live together 24/7 without someone else to blame, relationships get strained real fast. Amanda filed for divorce 2 months later. I signed the papers without hesitation. We had no kids, no major shared assets besides the furniture I had already taken. The process was quick and painless. By month 6, I was officially single again. I threw myself into work. I got a promotion within 6 months, a significant raise, and a new title. I started going to the gym again, something I had stopped doing when I got married. I reconnected with old friends I had neglected, guys from college who welcomed me back without judgment. We went hiking in the Columbia River Gorge, camping on the Oregon coast, all the things Amanda had never wanted to do. I was not in a rush to date again, but I kept myself open to the possibility. At a hiking meetup event, I met Lauren. She was a teacher, funny and kind, with clear boundaries and a healthy relationship with her own family. We started dating casually. There was no drama, no manipulation, just 2 people getting to know each other. It felt refreshing. It felt healthy. The difference was night and day. Lauren respected my space. When I said I needed an evening alone, she said okay, and made her own plans. When we had disagreements, we talked through them calmly. She never used guilt or tears to manipulate me. She was her own person, and she let me be mine. Over time, I realized what I had learned. Boundaries are not just important, they are essential. The moment I let Patricia cross the first boundary without consequences, I opened the door for every violation that followed. I should have said no from the start. No, Patricia cannot move in. No, this is not negotiable. I learned that marriage is about two people, not three. When your spouse stops being on your team, when they choose someone else over you consistently, the marriage is already over. It just takes time to make it official. I learned that respect is non-negotiable. If your partner does not respect you enough to stand up for you, to defend you, to prioritize your relationship, they do not deserve you. Love is not enough without respect. And I learned that sometimes the best response is not to argue, not to fight, but simply to walk away. They thought I would not do anything. They thought I was trapped. I proved them wrong. And in doing so, I freed myself. A year later, I sat in my studio apartment one evening after work. I looked out the window at the Portland skyline, the city lights reflecting off the Willamette River in the distance. I felt no regret, no anger, just peace. People say love is sacrifice, and that is true. But sacrifice does not mean losing yourself. It does not mean accepting disrespect or abuse. I had sacrificed enough. I had given Amanda and Patricia every chance. They chose to take advantage of my kindness, my patience, my love. So I chose myself, and I have no regrets. If someone ever tells you if you do not like it, you can leave, believe them. They are showing you who they are. They are telling you that you do not matter enough for them to fight for you, to compromise, to change. And sometimes the best thing you can do is take them at their word. So I left, and I took my apartment with me. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to choose yourself over someone you loved? Have you ever set a boundary that changed your life? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already, because I share real stories about real life, no sugarcoating. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone who might be struggling with their own boundaries right now. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it gave you something to think about. Remember, you deserve respect. You deserve peace. And you deserve a home that feels like home. Take care of yourselves out there. Until next time.